Let's see if we can get something downfield as it's Chenault, but the hit comes in, and it takes about 30 yards off that ball. See if we can get some quick drags. Out to Hayden Hurst, and are you kidding me with these picks? Hurts looking to scramble, Wanham forces the fumble. It's picked up by Stockton. Will be an easy, diving, flipping score for the rookie. Gets by Reich, and it might be another 10-5 touchdown for Chuba Hubbard. A double lead as Route gets the sack. He's looking to find his wide open target. We've just fall apart late on as Young drops it. So let's not test that, but instead, let's drop this one over the top for Chenault. He loves that pylon. I know that all of the defenders out here have had to cover that as Sidney Brown gets beat. We send a quick blitz, however, they find a quick big play. He's trying to get back there, but he will not. And it's just worked, as this might be another touchdown for the tight end. Sidney Brown has not had a good one in man coverage today. And it is up and through. He's made all of his attempts today. As the snap is back, we're not close to block it. Offense slowed down in the second half. Defense definitely, they didn't quite have what they had in that first half. And following that impressive loss, we have ourselves what should be one of our easier games in the last couple. Against the Rams, they're not having a good season, very similar to ours, 4-9. However, they do have Aaron Donald. And with him, you never know how the game is going to go. He could wreak havoc. But he really seems to be the only one on the team doing much of anything. Their offense is dead last in points per game. They're dead last in rushing yards. And the defense isn't doing all too well. Below average, and all their stats are close to average. However, we have near top 10 in terms of points per game for the offense and top 10 passing yards. Rushing yards, we don't really do traditional running. We primarily pass the ball. But defense, for us, is also really good at stopping the run. We are 5th in the league. Don't look at the points per game or the passing yards given up because we're one of the worst. But there is some good happening with this team. And one particular player that I don't think we give as much credit to as he should be getting is the rookie in Jaquan Cash. To this point in the season, he is currently in first place for Defensive Rookie of the Year. And we talked a little bit about that because there was a corner taken first overall that looked phenomenal in Sheldon Jett. He's only down at 8th with the Cardinals. And on top of that, not only is he Defensive Rookie of the Year, but if you go down to the best DB, he is currently in 2nd. So Jaquan Cash has not been getting the recognition I think he really does deserve. He's been really phenomenal, but this is going to be his biggest game. In practice this week, J.C. Horn strained his shoulder, so he is out. Our top corner, who hasn't really played like it, is out, giving prime opportunity for Jaquan Cash to prove what he could do against number 1 receivers. He typically plays a slot corner. We've played him a little bit at outside corner the last couple games, which is pretty good because we need him to step up today. But one thing you're not seeing on this list, of injuries at least, is the rookie linebacker in Hodgins. He is back from injury and is primed to get his first real start, not just subbing in certain packages as he's done a couple games this year. He's jumping full-blown into the starting spot. Our first pick of this series is finally getting his chance. And outside of morale affecting his game, coverage is looking really good. That's a 71 for zone. 63 man is not too bad. Block shedding is a little bit low at a 68, but he has plenty of speed, 91. He's got some decent awareness, again, without the morale affecting, is a 76. I'm hoping to see big play and to see our 2 rookie middle linebackers really lead that central part of this defense. And on top of that, it's been a long time coming, but it is finally time. Laviska Shenault Jr. is going to be wide receiver 1 today. Mingo will still be that 2, and Jennings will be the 3. He hasn't done much since his first few games this season, so he's kind of gotten demoted. He's still going to play some outside receiver, as Shenault will still be our starting slot receiver. So whenever we spread 3 or more, Laviska will move down to the slot and Jennings back to the outside. On top of that, we are also getting back Jerome Sweat, the rookie DT, who's going to be a rush DT for us. However, he's not going to be playing in the base package at the DT spot. That is going to be Siaki Ika. And I'm pretty sure that's how it was pronounced. I know I nailed it surprisingly the first time, but now that I say it, I don't remember if that's what it was. But he's going to get the start for the base packages because he is a much better run stopper. 77 with the morale taking it down. Meanwhile, Jerome Sweat is only a 68. However, he will still get some playing time in the 44 defense, which occasionally we do need to play. But as for our opponents today in the Rams, we'll be going up against a much regressed quarterback here in Matthew Stafford, down at a 71, plus with the morale taking him down. Their running back, Kyren Williams, not the same Kyren Williams of real life, who's done actually phenomenally this year. Their backup, Zach Evans. We obviously have their former running back, / the Vikings' former running back in Cam Akers, though don't expect him to play too much today. Fullback, they have their tight end in Hunter Long. Receivers, Cooper Kupp. It's going to be a tough matchup for Cash today, but I'm very interested to see how he does. On top of that, we also have Puka Nacua, so we really need our corners to step up today. As for their tight end, it is Dawson Knox. I feel like overlooked tight end in real life. I feel like he's a phenomenal guy, and we struggled against the backup tight end in Calcaterra last week for the Eagles. Sidney Brown needs to step up and lock down Knox. Their offensive line, not too bad. Havenstein, an 81. Avila, a 73. They also have Jerron Christian Sr., who is a 72, so he might be able to slot in at some other spots. They also have Nick Leverett, a 70, who might be able to play a little bit. At center, Brian Allen, a 73. Kevin Dotson at right guard, an 80. And then at right tackle, they do have a rookie in Todd Welch. So it's not a dominant line, very similar actually to our own offensive line. Their defensive line, it needs some help. Kyle Phillips, a 69. Obviously, they do have Aaron Donald, so that's going to massively set them up elsewhere. Down the middle, Kobe Turner, a 73, as well as Raekwon Davis, still a 73. Andrew Van Ginkel, their left outside linebacker, a 79. Down the middle, they do have Jaden Thurston, a day one starter rookie who is getting the start over Ernest Jones, who's a 79, slightly higher of a rated player. On the other side, they do have Byron Young, who massively has a much higher overall than what we had when we were using the Rams to start off Madden 24. Their corners, they're okay. Desmond King, Darion Kendrick, and Joshua Williams are their primary three, but they also might see a little bit of Travius Hodges Tomlinson, who's also a 73. So all in all, it's an okay group, but I feel like Laviska Shenault could do some damage against them, which hopefully we see. Their safeties, John Johnson, the 30, 79, and then a weaker, strong safety in Shaheem Carter, who is a 65. So hopefully the tight ends are going to have a field day, as well as getting Chuba Hubbard out of the backfield in screen passes, swing passes, because he's actually closing in on 2,000 total yards this season. As he sits right now, only 626 rushing yards. But tack that on to his 910 receiving yards. He is our leading receiver. He is over 1,500 yards this season, though only has 8 touchdowns. So we need to get him some more touchdowns. But with only 4 games left, he's going to have to get around that 150 mark in each game to make it to the 2,000 mark. So we need Chuba Hubbard to, one, stay healthy. He missed the entire second half of the last game. But we need him to rack up those yards, which we are quite used to. But with all of that said, there is a lot to prove in this game against a lesser team than we've faced the last 2 weeks. Can we get the job done? Can we be dominant? And can our young guys continue to shine? But let's get this battle underway. As the boot is through, we're set back to return with Sims. Look for a decent return or not much of a return, as blocking not set up too well. We'll start back at the 20 for this offense, primarily Chuba Hubbard and Shenault. But of course, as we typically do. Also going to feed a little bit of those tight ends, at least on these short, quick passes, and that is exactly where we look to start. Get this one out, Hayden Hurst, who's going to pick up the first down, trucking through the defender. Get out the way of Hayden Hurst. Love that to start us off with, as I'm sure the home fans also love to see it. Go with a run, Hubbard down the middle. We'll pick up a solid 4. I mean, this isn't very much of a dominant defensive line outside of Aaron Donald. As long as we do well against him, we should do just fine. As we get this one out, Hubbard trying to find some space. A nice juke gets us the first down. Not by much, but he takes care of business. And every little inch he gains puts him closer and closer to that 2K mark. As we're going to go right back to him here on the screen. Over the top, get some blocks in front, which we kind of do. Probably should have stuck more towards the middle on there instead of trying to get to the outside, but it works. Gain of 7. But after feeding him on so many straight plays to open up, we're going to send him to the sideline here, bringing out the rookie in Ty Barlow. We added from the Chargers practice squad last week. As he pushes, gets us close to, but not quite enough for the first. It's 3rd and inches. But luckily for us, we don't have to worry about Aaron Donald not on the field last play nor this play. As you try to stretch to the outside, find a gap, and just get enough. Honestly, looked really similar to the Cam Akers special. As Chuba Hubbard comes back out here, we spread wide a little bit, 1 receiver and 2 tight ends. Look for something to open up. As that's thrown straight at the corner, it did not look like Young saw him there. We're good for at least one of those a game as Darion Kendrick gets the pick. Honestly, kind of just looked like Young assumed man coverage since everyone else was kind of running man. There was just one guy left lurking. As there's the first tackle coming in for Hodgins. Well, you also got to show a little bit of love for his fellow rookie linebacker in Stockton. Slowed him down, leaving us with 2nd and 9. With a quick pass across the middle, it's cut, but he's only going to pick up maybe 1. And already we have a chance to get off the field here, 3rd and 9. As they have a couple different options all going to the outside. Here comes route to force the throwaway. Defense will hold. Nothing bad following the turnover. But speaking of turnovers, Bryce Young is 1 interception away from hitting 20 on the season. So we've got to find a way to clean that up, as Hubbard only able to pick up 1 on our first play this second drive. And it does look like their primary corner, at least the one they're lining up against Chenault more often than not, is Darion Kendrick. And he doesn't really have that top end speed, so we might need to look to abuse it as Young finds a little bit of some space and finds Hayden Hurst. A fantastic job of navigating the pocket there, not giving up on the play and making a big one. Moves us up close to midfield as we come out with a tight shotgun set. Hubbard trying to find something, and we'll stretch it for 5. By no means has it been anything fancy, but it's getting the job done. As we go back to the spread empty look, get this one out to Hubbard, who's trying to stretch it to the outside. Probably should have stuck underneath the block there of Jennings. Instead, it's a gain of nothing. And it'll leave us with a still needing 5 here on 3rd down. Just slightly in plus territory. We spread 2 wide either side. Young just looking to scramble here, going to pick up the first down and a good bit more before getting down at the 34. And that's really all we need from him. Just take the safe plays. We got Mingo going deep, couple crossing routes. Chenault sitting clean underneath. As once again, Young looks to scramble but does not get by Van Ginkel. Gain of 3. Honestly, that ankle grab there probably saved him at least the first down, maybe a whole lot more. It's 2nd and 7. Go down the middle, Hubbard. Past the diving Aaron Donald, picking up a first down with that shake and bake. But of course, it's not just strict handing the ball off for him that is his biggest threat. We look for him maybe towards that front pylon here, as long as the blocking holds up. As we go towards him, and he will fight into the end zone, finding that pylon exactly. Chuba Hubbard with another touchdown on the season. And now we get to get back to that defense that once again has so many promising young players. See how well they do as it's a 1st and 10 with a throw finding a little bit of some soft coverage. Going to be Puka Nacua. And that will take us to the end of the first quarter. Heading into the second, it was only 4 offensive plays for the Rams in that entire first quarter. So we should be up, and at least we are. 7-0. They hand it off for Cooper. He's going nowhere. Wanham just sitting there off the edge makes the play, bringing up a 3rd and 6. They got a split backfield, including Cup, as they'll instead go right across the middle, open spaces. That'll be the first catch for Dawson Knox on the day, as it does give them that first down up to the 42. They come out with 3 to the left, 1 to the right. Looking for Cup, and Sidney Brown nearly with the pick, instead just tips it away. Now, obviously, we were wanting to see a big matchup between our defensive rookie of the year in Cashon Cup, but it's primarily been Jones facing Cup, as Hodgins does well to find him as Kyron Williams showing off, but luckily we get the hip tackle there with Brown. But that very much shows where this defense needs to improve, and it's in getting the tackles first go around. Hodgins did what he needed to there, shed the block, got to Kyron. You were just not getting the tackle typically 1v1. I mean, even on that one, Stockton needed a little bit of help, but it's nice seeing this young tandem finally out there together as the Rams come out with a tight set under center. Look for the quick one, and they will find Nacua. Gain of 5. Now, the main thing for us today is when it comes to defensive coverage, we don't really have great press guys right now. So we have to play not press, as Nacua drops that one, a rarity for him. Perhaps just heard the footsteps of Sidney Brown coming crashing down. But yeah, we have to play off-man coverage, and so far today, I feel like it's working against a pretty decent receiver group. But the Rams do finally get their first points of the game, make it 7-3, and a chance for our offense to get right back out on the field and try to grab some more points. We're going to start with a bunch to the left-hand side, Hurst to the right. See what opens up here for us, as Young once again trying to just manage the pocket, get down, stay clean, picking up 5. And we'll keep with that same look on 2nd and 5. Looking for Chenault here on the switch. Might open up pretty well for us, so they do bring the blitz, and Young cannot get rid of it in time. It's going to be a sack by Crowder. And that's going to leave us with a 3rd and a very long 15. First down for us is up at the 35. Meanwhile, we sit back at the 20. Got 3 to the left, Jennings lone to the right. See what's going to open up here for us as we have to step up into the hands of Aaron Donald, get dropped on back-to-back plays, and we'll have to punt away. So overall, pretty safe to say this has been a primarily defensive game. As the Rams come out, they start up at the 40. Look for a run. Kyron Williams right down the middle, meeting Brown, bouncing off, spinning off, but not going to get away. And it's a good gain to the opposite 46. Seems like we're biting too much on the pass action, and we need to do a little bit better against the run as they dump that one off for their other running back in Norton, I believe. He's a running back. Might need a check on him. He's been playing out at slot receiver. And as we check the lineup here for the Rams, he is a receiver. He's just rocking 27, a very strange oddity here in today's NFL, as that's a great play from the rookie in Stockton. Honestly surprised Roger Goodell hasn't fined him enough to make him change that number. It's 3rd and 4. They need the first down if they want to continue this drive, and it's open for Cooper Kupp, and he's headed to the end zone for a Rams lead. Got over the top of Jones, one of those newly acquired corners. And that leaves us for the first time playing down. See how well our offense ends up responding as we get a sidearm out here for Isaiah Likely, picking up the first down before dipping out after a gain of around 14. And honestly, where I feel like this offense has been its most dangerous is around that 2-minute mark, and we hit the 2-minute warning here. Can, however, we keep up with what we typically do best under a lot of pressure. As we get this one out to Likely once again, it's a gain of 6. Get right back to the line, at least, hopefully, yes. Likely able to bounce back up as we get right back to it. Gonna just switch Hubbard to the right-hand side. He's been able to do pretty well on these wheel routes, but it's just Likely who just keeps getting open. And Thurston potentially not too happy about that. A little bit of some extra play there at the end. But either way, we're moving the ball. We switch up the look, got 3 to the left, Jennings to the right. They have the single high. We end up just scrambling here with Young. Diving down, it's a gain of 8. Again, simple, safe plays. That's what this team needs. And as the linebacker goes out to meet him, looks like they're probably going to be running a little bit of some man. We got some crossing routes flooding one side of the field. Just stepping up. Once again, Young diving down at the 26. So far, the pass rush outside of Donald not containing that of Young. See if we can maybe find Chenault to the outside here. If we could drag down the corner and safety, get it out there for him, and it's through his hands. It is not often that Chenault does not make those plays, and Young finally got that ball high enough. As we change up the look, got two spread either side. Looking for Chuba Hubbard here to the outside, and it was open, but the hit arrived the last possible moment. And that leaves us with a 3rd and 10. We still got 33 seconds, 3 timeouts. So we could definitely at least potentially go for it on 4th or find Hayden Hurst across the middle coming back for it. We'll call that first timeout there. We still have 27 on the board. And we're down to the 15. We keep with a similar look, though Hubbard moves over to the opposite side. Gonna give this one to Chenault on the jet sweep. Try to find some lead blocks, utilize that athleticism, stiff arm, down to a 1st and goal at the 5 and out of bounds. We have not utilized his athleticism this year, and that is a grave mistake and something we're trying to correct late on here. As we have a zig out to Hayden Hurst, who has the step and another touchdown on the year. Get these tight ends involved, they do well. And they get us back in front right before half. And overall, I would say a lot of good from that first half. We're obviously not ahead by much, 14-10. But the offense, they made some consistent plays. Defense, they did really well. We limited most of what Cooper Kupp was able to do in that first half. Obviously gave up the big play, but I'm pretty happy with it. Happening things around the league, it is a 14-3 lead here for the Eagles. They are 10-3 up on the Buccaneers, who are fighting to get back to 500. As for the Minnesota Vikings, they're hosting the Packers, and ouch in real life. It's 21-7, Vikings up. They're 6-7, Packers are 7-6, those two battling back and forth. As for our last update, we have the Saints taking on the Chiefs, and it is 14-10, a close battle between the 8-5 team versus a 3-10. But obviously, we've seen the Chiefs be faulty of late in real life. But as we get our second half underway, it's going to be the Rams out, and we've made a slight tweak here for the lineup for our corners. Everyone's still depth chart the same, but lineup is going to be by overall. And hopefully with that being put in place, we're going to see Cash primarily match up against Cooper Kupp, and he's going to have to move between every different spot as a sack comes in. It is the rookie in Stockton. Right now, it really is these rookies trying to elevate this defense, and they're doing a pretty decent job of it. It is 3rd and 11, though. They find the soft spot in the zone coverage, and we cannot tackle. Luckily, the other rookie in Hodgins makes the play. But funnily enough, on that one, we did not have Cash lined up on Kupp, probably just due to them coming out with a 3 spread to that side. As they go with the run, the next play, there is Ika with the quick block shed and the tackle for loss. I don't know if it's just the hope that the young guys bring, but this young defensive line has been just so much better than that of who we had playing earlier. As they do find Puka Nacua across the middle, he picks up a big gain. So I would say so far in this one, outside of Cash, who's over at the slot right now, the other corners, they're struggling. As they hand this one off, it's all open down the middle for Williams, bouncing off the first tackle, not getting by Gardner Johnson. But he has been getting things done in this one. I want to say the yards per carry around 8. As they go with the play action, it's Stockton with a second sack, getting the ankle of Stafford, who tried to peel away. And right now we're seeing the birth of a new combo at the inside backer spots, and it's looking pretty solid. 2nd and 18, they go with the play action over the top, and Kupp brings it in. Close coverage there from Cash, but he just couldn't get the hands around. But he's obviously having to match up against one of the league's best, so I think he's doing a pretty admirable job out there with it. 1st and goal, it's across the middle, and how did Stafford squeeze that one in? Cooper Kupp with his 2nd on the day in the tightest window we've seen today. Well, this one is shaping up to be a good one as we take the field for the first time offensively in the second half. We are down 3 points as Chenault in motion, Fake the jet sweep, fake the handoff, see if we could find someone downfield. As it tosses it out, it's Likely who's going to come back for it, but he drops it. How you give that one up? It should have been a pretty good run after the catch as well, but Likely maybe not the tight end of the future for us. As we hand this one off, it's Chenault who will pick up a few. And that'll leave us needing 7 here on third down. First down is up at the 35. It's a tight shotgun set here for Young, who scrambled a good bit in that first half. Might need to do so here, or try to get this one over the top to Likely. No, Van Ginkel again, saving the day for the Rams. We'll have to punt. And now that we're not going to have a scripted drive for this defense, see how well they do this time around as, again, these tight windows. Hey, Stafford's the crafty vet here. Well, on top of it, he does have a pretty good receiving group. At least 2 solid receivers, a pretty good tight end. As he dumps this one off, Kupp out the backfield, not going to get by Brown. He's been a pretty solid tackler for us, and it brings up a 3rd and 5, which they spread empty. Need to pick up a stop here as they check it down to the outside. Cash, you can't play that soft of coverage. Dawson Knox able to easily bring that one in with that first down. Gets him to the 47 into plus territory as they look for Kyren Williams, who gets tripped up and then just slammed around a few times, dropped for a gain of 1. We'll say so far in this one, Stockton, he's been well involved on nearly every single play. Though not going to be involved much on this one, as it is going to be another first down for Williams. He's been very shifty out there. 9 carries, 64 yards. We could do with the defensive line getting a little bit more stuck in as we're closing into the end of the third quarter here. Got maybe 1 play left as we bring the blitz. It's Stockton, not going to find his 3rd sack, but it does throw off the timing on that throw. And we'll save just a little bit of time left here in the third. So now 1 more play as they hand this one off. Williams right through the gap. He nearly finds the first. Will be 3rd and 8 as we enter the 4th quarter. Need both sides to step up here late. It's been the late game where we haven't quite played up to par. And it all comes down to this play here. A big momentum shift if we could get the stop. Stockton gets the hit in on Stafford, but it is going to be easily complete to Puka Nacua. And it really has been just the check down consistently dragging us down, and then they take the pop shot over the top. As they do here, it is another on the day for Cooper Kupp. They take a 2-score lead. However, it would not be a 10-point lead as we did actually block the point after. So it makes it 23-14 as the offense heads out for their pretty key possession. As we start with a little bit of some play action to the outside, it's Hayden Hurst who's going to have a massive gain headed down the sideline to the opposite 39. We talked about at the top of this episode how we needed to get the tight ends well involved in this one, and they definitely have been. Mingo deep with a single high safety, couple out routes as well. As it's not opening up, and Kwanu's going to have to jump on this one. It's a sack fumble from Byron Jones. We'll say the offensive line has been slipping in this second half. Need to find some plays to get them going. As we go with the halfback screen here, Chuba Hubbard is going to pick up what he can. It's a gain of about 7, leaving still a long 3rd and 15. But we need at least a field goal on this drive, and we could hit from distance, but we need some amount of a gain on this one, or a first down even would be fantastic. Stepping up in the pocket, it is a 1-yard gain as Donald takes away the scramble. Now we know we have a leg here on Ford. It's 4th and 15. Can we hit from distance though? It is up, it's looking accurate, and he hit the 60-yarder from exactly midfield. He probably could have hit that one from at least 62, 63. But now we are desperate for the big plays from the defense. It is 1st and 10. They start at the 25. Kyren Williams just taking the space the offensive line is giving him. He's really not doing anything much outside of that. He's breaking a couple tackles. But the first 5 yards, those have all been free almost every single time. as they're going to scrunch down the line a little bit here. They go the play action. We send the blitz. They get it out. It's Cash who just got sucked down, and it's a big gain to the opposite 30. We really needed that blitz to hit home. We'll say Cash has not made any of the big plays today that we were really needing from him. Again, he's playing out of position, but still, we could have used it today. As Wanham getting back there, it's going to be out for Kuka Nakua, and it's again a big pass play downfield. These targets have just been too much for the defense today. They have not been able to lock down all of them. As they hand this one off, Kyron not going to get anywhere. CJ Gardner-Johnson slows him down, and Hodgins cleans it up. In his first game back, 4 tackles so far. As they have 3 tight ends to the left-hand side, they go with a little bit of some play action. As they go to their tight end, who's just finding the space. We are not playing tight enough, not playing smart enough, and it's another 2-score game. But their lead, 12, is not good enough. They want 14 as they're going for the 2-point. They got a bunch to the right-hand side. I mean, why not? The passing has all worked out pretty well for him. And it's going to work out for him at least one more time. It is 14 points with 3:33 on the clock. And this is where we're going to need our most efficient drive from our offense yet. We start spread. If we could find anyone downfield, not really. Young's got to get rid of it. He takes a pop as well. And honestly, outside of the early turnover, he's played a very clean game. He's not taken too many chances. As we go with the halfback screen here, we need some blocks. Chuba Hubbard will pick up 8. And we'll get back to the line quickly. Need at least the first down here, 3rd and 2. Just going to go with the handoff down the middle. Should be good enough for Hubbard, who picks up a block on the safety, but couldn't quite get through the middle. And we're taking a timeout early here. Interesting choice there from Steve Smith Sr. Perhaps his finger slipped. Either way, leaves them with 3:02. 2 timeouts remaining. We're down 2 scores as we just got to get rid of that one. Pass rush has been hitting home. At least this time shouldn't be as difficult as it's just a 3 front for the Rams. They're defending against the pass. We have Hubbard going out on his favorite route. See if we could open up towards the sideline. It is there, and he gets the first and out of bounds. He could have really used this score prior to the 2 minutes since we had to call that earlier timeout. See if Chenault on the switch route could find some space downfield. As Young having to scramble. It's a sack fumble, though it looked like Young was down. This might have to go to a review, but for right now, it's Van Ginkel, making it a 3-score game. And unfortunately, no review is coming in, and we have been told we cannot challenge it. It will stand. And it is a 3-score game, 2:41 on the clock. Honestly, I don't feel like you could really blame Young there. The offensive line has not kept him clean. They've just wreaked havoc in our backfield a majority of this game, and it's now put Young in a desperate, heated situation, and those typically never end well. We just got to make sure he stays poised back there. Keep some confidence even though things haven't gone well. If we can do that, we might find some big plays as the hit just sends that one straight to the linebacker. That's a Madden play for you, but at least Young comes in. He makes the tackle. But this one is running away from us. And it's disappointing because even on that last play, we had Chenault breaking wide open downfield. Offensive line has not protected us today, and defense hasn't done enough. We've been sloppy in tackling as there's 2 broken ones there to just prove it. But at least one thing we could take from this game as we do hit the 2-minute warning is how important Horn has actually been for this defense. We've obviously been very harsh on him, but no one has done much of anything in this game as the Rams tack on 1 more. See if our offense can do anything, and it's pretty much over. And honestly, this drive, it's just going to be for Chuba Hubbard for the most part. We just want to feed him a little bit, see if we can get him some yards here late on as he almost brings that one in off of Aaron Donald's helmet. But yeah, it's pretty much a stat book drive here as we've gone from having a close, possible winning game or win a bowl game to it being 45-17 in what felt like 2 minutes. But that's just football. Games like this happen where it's close for most of it. and at the very end it gets away from us. One of those games that the scoreboard doesn't really show how the majority of the game went, as we do find a nice play to Chuba Hubbard. But as long as this drive keeps going, we'll keep going in this game. Sticking with the same look here again. We're just trying to feed Chuba. As it's picked, well, I guess we're not feeding anymore. That pick will do it for us here today. Overall, it's disappointing, right? We had so many opportunities for these young guys to come in and prove something against a team that outside of 1-2 guys was a very weak team, but they just couldn't stick with them. And in that fourth quarter, they completely fell apart, and, well, the Rams took advantage every single time. Well, let's at least try to take some amount of positivity away from this game. Looking at the stats, there's not much to look at for the passing. Running-wise, Chuba Hubbard, 32 yards. Mix that with his receiving, and he had about 125 yards. So still on pace right now to hit that 2K mark. Plus, he added on another touchdown. Defensively, the top 2 tacklers in this game were our rookie middle linebacker. Stockton had 9, and Hodgins, in his first real game starting, he had 8 tackles, 2 of which were for a loss. So I feel like he did have a pretty good game in this one. Pretty good start, and I felt like he was more impactful than what we had in Deion Jones. He was flying around, he was making some plays. Now, obviously, the elephant in the room from the beginning of the episode, with our defensive rookie of the year at least looking like right now, second best defensive back, we didn't see Cash do much in this game, but we were asking a lot from him because he didn't get much help from anyone out there. The other corners in Rush and Jones, they struggled massively in this. So he was having to cover Kupp. He was having to cover Nakua, even Tony Norton. And yeah, we gave up a lot of passing plays today. Not all of them were obviously on Cash. Some of them was us playing some zone coverage, and it just wasn't what we should have been doing. But yeah, he didn't have as big of a game as we were hoping. It was a tough task for him. He's not a number 1 corner yet, but I think he could be a solid slot corner. We just need to put some help around him. And speaking of at least possible help, what do we have coming in the draft? Well, we've talked a little bit about Braden Chaney and Trey McPhee. And yeah, they both look like they could be really solid corners. But do we go corner in the first round when we have so many other big areas of need? I don't see us going corner this early, outside of us having to trade up and maybe then being able to do something. So if there's anything later on, there's some intriguing guys here and there, like Dave Middlebrooks out of Texas. He's not the atypical size that I like. He's 5'10", 190, but he's around 2 to 3 with B zone and B to D press. So possible intriguiness there. He's just not very good in zone. And a number 1 corner to me needs to have balance to his game. One guy who potentially might have a little bit of balance is Rick Harrell out of Ohio State, and he has more of the size I look for at 6'2", 210 in the round 3 to 4 with C-man, B to D for both press and zone. So possibility there, probably not super high-end talent, but still someone who might be able to add to the mix and make some plays. But where this team clearly today desperately needs help is the offensive line, and luckily for us, at tackle, which is definitely going to be a spot of need for us, there are a whole lot of round 1 prospects, which hopefully some guys fall. Also, that might mean that guys aren't going as much later on. So at left tackle, there are some round 1 to 2s who could drop a little bit, but there's just guys spread out throughout this class. It's actually a really decent looking offensive line class with even guys like Jermaine McGee out of Cal, who's a potential undrafted. The top ratings for him actually do look pretty good. So we've got a lot of options in this class. Center also looks really good later on. So we could go after them in the mid rounds or the day 3s. All in all, I think this should be a pretty good class for us as long as we work it well. But on top of that, we also have a lot of free agent moves we can make as well. So there's a whole lot that will be coming very soon as we are at the rounding out point of season 2. We got 3 games left. Raiders, Broncos, Giants. So we're done in division, and It looks like we're going to at least not be the worst, depending on how the Saints finish out their season. They are 3-11. We are 4-10, set to take on the 7-7, the 500 Raiders with Max Crosby. So it's once again going to be another tough task for our offensive line. Luckily, this time it's going to be primarily our tackles, who are typically the higher rated for our offensive line. And another task to see how well Cash could do, because he's going to continue to be given as many opportunities late on as possible to really help us judge where he is. A little bit more look at Hodgins as well at middle linebacker. And just, again, get Chuba Hubbard to 2K. That is the goal for the offense moving forward. I hope you guys enjoyed today's game, even though it definitely got away from us. If you did, and you haven't already, hit that bell icon on the bottom right or scroll down and hit the sub button. They both do the same thing, and subscribing to this channel will get us closer to that 1K mark, as we are very much closing in on it. And to make sure you don't miss any of these videos, if you guys also take that bell icon, you'll be notified. This series every single Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. Plus, we started a new state-only challenge, the Central States, last week. That series out every single Wednesday and Saturday, as it's currently the combination of Arkansas, Missouri, and Nebraska using the Kansas City Chiefs. Make sure you check that one out. You guys got 6 videos every single week, so stick around and we will see you guys next time as we head to Vegas.